Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to our council meeting tonight. I'd like to call our meeting to order. I'd like to lead us in our prayer. So please stand if you would, and I'd like to go in our prayer. From our prayer, we'll go into the pledge. Let's pray. Gracious and Heavenly Father, thank you for loving us. We ask that you just bless these proceedings, bless the men and women who've been asked to lead and see the business of the city. Give us wisdom and understanding to do things that accept on your sight. We ask that you just wrap your arms around those who need your love and protection. We ask that you just make our city the best it can be. And we ask. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Higginbotham, call roll, please.
Councilman Roberts.
Here.
President Logan.
Here.
Councilman Sullivan.
Here.
Councilman Davis.
Here.
Councilman Hogg. You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Item 4 is a presentation regarding the mayor's office and Councilman Davis and our Public Works Director, Ms. Brooke Starnes, and her staff.
I got to tell my story so you'll know why we're here tonight. A couple of years ago, I was in Atlanta for the SEC championship game, and Chief Burton will be going back again this year. So I stayed in a little neighborhood with a good friend of mine, and it was on a Friday before the Saturday game, and all the carts were out on the road, and it was a lot of pink carts, and so talked with a couple of neighbors that were living next to my friends, and they had come up with that idea to support breast cancer research. And so I talked with Ms. Starnes, and she put the wheels in motion with our garbage carts and our new trucks coming online. The rest of the council thought it'd be a good idea, and also the mayor did. So at this time, Mr. and Ms. Bruce Sokol, if you'll come up, we want to present you with a check on behalf of breast cancer research. And you want to say anything? Go ahead.
The Breast Cancer Research Foundation was started in 1995. My then wife, who passed away in 2000, was diagnosed, and I was joined together by a lady in Birmingham named Dolly O'Neill, who interestingly grew up in Tuscaloosa. I've got deep ties to Tuscaloosa, roots that are very strong, and so Tuscaloosa means a lot to us. But we started this foundation 23 years ago, and we have raised, and the purpose, the mission was purely for research. UAB has a comprehensive cancer center that is doing great research in all facets of cancer, but especially breast cancer. We've raised over $8 million in the last 23 years, and closely approaching $10 million. And it's done by grassroots efforts just like this. And it's very important for me to be here and receive this for my number one love of Tuscaloosa and for the need to find a cure for this dreaded disease. And I thank you all so very much.
Well, Mr. Sokol, on behalf of the residents of Northport, tonight we want to present you with a check for $6,441.
Our next presentation is Miss Judy Holland with High Socks for Hope and Miss Ellen Potts.
Hello, everyone. Tonight, I would like to formally thank the Northport City Council, the mayor, and the City of Northport for your participation in the first Habitat for Humanity home in Northport in 16 years. Our homeowner is now tucked into her home, sleeping soundly, I'm sure, and loving her new house. I'm here tonight because Habitat is a very important part of, I work for High Socks for Hope, and we have been sponsoring many homes and sponsoring Habitat for many years. And for the city of Northport, I feel like it's so important for us as a community to come together to continue this, to not just have the first house in 16 years, but start having a house every year or 2 or 3, because affordable housing is very hard to come by in Northport, in Tuscaloosa. And now Deborah, who we met 4 years ago, 4 years ago she went into transitional housing because she was having health issues and she could not afford to live in the home she was living in. We met her then, we helped her go into that home, and now, 4 years later, she has bought her own home. And Deborah wouldn't have been able to do that without Habitat. So, you know, I would like for us as the city to try to figure out a way to continue financing homes, because High Socks for Hope sponsored the home, but we didn't completely get the home sponsored. We still have a lot of money to raise for the home. And so I would like for us as a city to figure out a way for us to continue sponsoring these Habitat homes. I mean, it was such a wonderful thing to go by the house at any given time and see Northport policemen or city councilmen or businesses in Northport all working together, you know, building the home and building our community. And so, anyway, I wanted to turn the floor over to Ellen because she's so much more eloquent than I am. I can't stand to speak in public. And, anyway, Ellen.
Well, I want to thank, on behalf of the Board of Directors and all of the employees and volunteers for Habitat for Humanity, I want to thank all of you. We had a wonderful experience here in Northport, and we are excited to be able to build a home for U.S. Navy veteran Deborah Feener, who served honorably, raised her children in Guam, you know, just lived overseas for many, many years in service to our country. And so we are grateful for the support and for all of the things that all of you did to make, you know, grease the wheels, kind of teach us how to do things in Northport, get buildings permits and things like that. Those costs were covered. We greatly appreciate that. I want to say that we want to continue to build in Northport. To do that, we need some land. We need land in a place, you know, where people families would want to live here in Northport. We got to have a decent sized lot, one that's big enough to build a house on and meet your setbacks that you set with your zoning regulations. We are excited that through the Pat Fawcett Foundation, through the Community Foundation of West Alabama, the Pat Fawcett Foundation is under that umbrella. First Presbyterian Church and the other Presbyterian churches in PCUSA Presbyterian churches in Tuscaloosa County, and also Stillman College. We are going to build a home in Northport next year in honor of the 200th anniversary of Presbyterians in Tuscaloosa County. And that home will be in Northport. We're very, very grateful to the Community Foundation of West Alabama for their support, and the Presbyterian churches, First Presbyterian in particular. And but we need your help to keep this on an ongoing basis. We need the Northport churches to support this effort in terms of this house that we still have money that is not yet raised, and then also for houses that we want to continue to build in the future and continue this great relationship. You know, Habitat homeowners, we look at their credit, we look at their criminal background, sex offender status, all of those kinds of things. These are really good, solid people moving into your community, who are active in their churches, who are have kids in the school system, who work hard, and we want to continue to help supply Northport citizens to you, whether they're people who already live in Northport or whether they're people who are, like Ms. Feener, who are new to Northport. So thank you to all of you. I know some of you gave your discretionary funds to High Socks for Hope to help support this effort. We pray that you will continue to do that. We had wonderful representation. The Northport Citizen of the Year 2 years ago, Ashley Gill, right the week before we dedicated the house, she was up roofing a house across town. And then the 2 Northport Citizens of the Year last year, Judy Holland, and this year Felicia Hickman Krebs, they were there at the dedication, or at Deborah Feener's house the night before till 11:30, helping to furnish and making sure that the house was just in perfect order. So we are very, very grateful for especially your last 3 Citizens of the Year who have been so involved in this. So thank you, and we hope to continue this relationship.
Ellen and Judy, thank you guys so much for making us a part of that partnership family again. I know it's been over 15 years since Northport has partnered with Habitat, and hopefully moving forward we can look more closely at a better partnership and planting some seeds to really make the partnership and the marriage work, because I think it really benefited, and you see who it benefits directly. We've got a new citizen, they got a great home, so I think everybody on this board is particular about making sure that we try to do a better job in partnering. So again, I was excited when she moved in. It was a great home. Everybody pitched in to build it, so very good. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Item 5 is approval of our agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
I'll make that motion.
That's a motion by Councilman Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Sullivan. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Higginbotham.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mr. President.
Item 7A1, unfinished business, is a second reading of a permanent resolution authorizing the sale of the Hassan Center to Academics in Motion. Mr. Davis.
Yes, Mr. President, since this one is going to take a 5-0 vote from the council, Councilmember Hodges not yet here, I'd ask that you delay that until
Thank you. Well, what I may do, because I know by city code to sell it's got to take 5 votes, I will put this under my business. Maybe Councilman Hogg will be here before then, so when he does, I'll make sure that he's formally put on the record as when he shows up, because we've got to have 5 affirmative votes from council to make this work. So if it's okay with mayor and council, I would move this to my business. If he shows up, that way we can handle it. Second item is a second reading of a permanent resolution authorizing the sale of city-owned property located at the southwest corner of Main Avenue. Mr. Davis.
yes, Mr. President, this is a resolution that the city can take action on tonight. As you know, this is the property southwest of Main Avenue, kind of called Trestle property. We've had fresh proposals. One's been withdrawn, but you have 2. The resolution sets forward that whichever of the remaining 2 persons or entities that you give the vote to sell the land to, they would have to build it consistently with their proposed use for the property. They have to start building within 60 days of closing date, and shall be completed in 15 months of closing date. The idea being we've got a $750,000 80/20 grant for landscaping from the city cafe all the way to the end of Main Avenue. It would be good not only to have landscaping, but some development going on there in Main Avenue.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to adopt that permanent resolution?
President Logan, yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we sell the property to Main Street Townhomes for the said amount of $170,000.
All right.
That's in form of a motion.
Thank you. I will second that, and making sure, and I think, Ron, you said it with the time limitations set in the resolution to begin and complete. If he doesn't meet those benchmarks, we'll have the right to buy that property back, correct? All right. Motion by Councilman Davis, second by Councilman Logan. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Higginbotham.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
8A1, new business. It's a first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 14 of the municipal code pertaining to bees and beehives. Mr. Davis.
Yes, the city's current code does not speak to urban beekeeping within the city. This first reading is, again, it's first reading only based somewhat on the city of Tuscaloosa's ordinance that they currently enforce with 150 feet of boundary line space. We added that if you had permission, the adjoining owner, landowner, would be acceptable. I've spoken with Mr. Swan for a long time. He provided me some additional information about density in urban beekeeping, and he or some others, I think, are here later out on this even now.
Yes, sir. I see Mr. Dowden. He's actually signed up to speak on the normal citizen agenda, but with it being 8A1, if Mr. Dowden, if you want to come and give your perspective regarding a particular first reading that we have on the agenda.
Thank you, President Logan, Mayor, and other council members. My name's David Dowdy. I'm a past president of the West Alabama Beekeepers Association. I'm a current president of the Tuscaloosa County Truck Growers. That's the organization that runs the Northport Farmers Market. And I'm also on the board of Friends of Historic Northport. So I wear many different hats, and I'm a beekeeper in addition to that, and beekeeping cuts across all of those organizations. Bees have been under pressure for the last 10 years or so. Y'all may have heard some of the news stories. They don't know what the cause is, but they've given it the name of colony collapse disorder. Beekeepers are losing 60, 70% of their bees every year. The most recent figures to come out are still losing between 30 and 60% of the beehives every year. There are lots of cities that are trying to make it easier to keep bees in the town. New York City has lots of beekeeping on the rooftops. Some of the highest priced honey that I've ever heard about or read about comes from rooftop beekeeping in New York City around Central Park area. In Tuscaloosa, I know of one of our beekeepers that is in the process of placing a couple of hives of bees on the rooftop of a hotel in downtown Tuscaloosa. Just recently, one of our beekeepers has been in touch with the Arboretum, and the West Alabama beekeepers have donated 2 hives of bees to that are now installed at the Arboretum. I became aware of this proposed ordinance last week when I was volunteering with Friends of Historic Northport at the Northport Heritage Days. I know President Logan came and saw that. That's put on by the Friends of Historic Northport, and I don't know, somewhere between 300 and 500 fourth graders came through and learned about some Northport history, some Alabama history, and just the way things were done. Most times we had about 5 beekeepers there setting up a booth, talking to and educating these fourth graders. We had an observation hive where they were able to see bees under glass, and it was one of the hits of the program. They were all excited about seeing bees, learning about bees. We even had a bee show up from somewhere, who knows where, and we passed it around on the ends of the fingers of the little fourth graders. I can just imagine them going home and saying, "Mom and Daddy, I had a bee on my finger today at the field trip." I hope we don't get any complaints about that, but the fourth graders really seem to enjoy it. Just to let you know a little bit about how important bees are. Bees are more important for pollination than they are for their honey. The most recent study that I'm aware of about 2 years ago estimated that bees' value to the U.S. economy is in the neighborhood of $15 billion due to pollination. It's said bees pollinate about 1 out of every 3 bites of food we all eat. And not only is it 1 out of 3 bites of food, but in my mind, it's the most nutritious and the best food. Bees pollinate the fruits and the vegetables. If you like apples, strawberries, watermelons, cucumbers, cantaloupe, squash, all of those rely on beekeepers for pollination. So in my experience with the Northport Farmers Market. You know, there are lots of farmers begging for beekeepers to put bees on their land to help them out with their pollination. We also have a good relationship with the Master Gardeners Program. They're very aware of and supporting of beekeeping and increasing the number of bees in beehives. And any citizen that has a fruit tree or a garden in their yard should be aware of that and want to increase the number of bees and beekeepers. That's really about all I have to say. If y'all had any questions about bees or beekeeping, I know Mr. Swan's a beekeeper. I think there are several other employees of the city of Northport that keep bees that I've heard of, but I would just encourage y'all to, instead of trying to do anything to restrict bees, to try to do something to encourage beekeeping and beekeepers in the city of Northport. Thank you for your time.
Councilman Logan, one thing that I wanted to make sure it was clear of, because the information that went around is that we were prohibiting beekeeping within the city of Northport, and that is not what we were attempting to do at all. The city has no ordinance on bees, and in my mind, I was concerned about 250 kids going home and convincing their parents to put 250 beehives in every neighborhood, which is not something that you can readily address. So the ordinance intent, the first reading, Mr. Davis, is simply to allow us to have the discussion, get the input of the professionals. You folks have had a lot of input into what happens with bees. I know I've talked to Mr. Walt repeatedly on this subject, and the idea is to allow us to discuss this, to come to a rational solution and something that works well for all of us. I think we all recognize that not every piece of land and not every situation is suitable for what we're trying to do here with preserving bees. So I just want to clarify, we are not looking to forbid beekeeping in the city.
Thank you, Councilman Roberts, and thank you, Mr. Dowdy, too, for giving us that perspective. And again, just to dovetail off that, I think the ordinance, like Tony was mentioning, is not to prohibit, but we're trying to, I guess, get a lot of perspectives before council decides to do one way or another. But again, item 8A1, it's the first reading. If any member of council wanted to offer that up for a first reading.
I'll offer that up for first reading.
Offered up by Councilman Roberts. Item 8B1 is a resolution authorizing our city administrator to enter into an agreement between the City of Northport Fire Rescue and William E. Crawford, MD, for a period of 1 year. Chief Marshal, this is basically the period of 1 year for Dr. Crawford to continue to serve as the medical director by rule based on 4202-1-.055H, correct?
Yes, sir.
And again, this is basically an extension of what we already have with Dr. Crawford's office, correct?
That's correct, sir.
All right, thank you. I'll make that in the form of a motion to adopt that resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Roberts. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Higginbotham.
President Logan,
Yes.
Councilman Roberts,
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Second item is a resolution declaring certain items and equipment as surplus and authorizing